A bunch of Christians right now are saying, I want to go to a church where they give me meat, solid food, not just milk. But what does that even mean to have solid food rather than milk in a spiritual biblical context? Because we know that in 1 Corinthians 3, Paul addresses the Corinthians church and says, when I was with you, I couldn't talk to you as though I would spiritual people. I had to talk to you as though you belonged to this world, as though you were infants in Christ. I had to feed you with milk and not solid food because you weren't ready for anything stronger. You see, I have a 4-month-old right now, and he can only eat milk. And that's because his body can't even break down, metabolize, or digest solid food. So notice when Paul is saying this to the Corinthians church, he's almost putting the blame on the Corinthians that this is their fault, that they're not digesting meat and that they can only digest milk, even though Paul is the one preaching to them with only milk. So let's say if you're a Christian who thinks that you're ready for solid food and you want more from your pastor or whatever church you go to, then there's a responsibility on you to live a life that resembles one who has already graduated past only consuming milk, which means you do not look like the world anymore, but a new creation in Christ. Because if you're still consumed with worldly thoughts and have not yet taken on the mind of Christ and still look like the rest of the world, you will not be able to digest meat. You will not be able to metabolize solid food, and it will actually hurt you and could damage your faith. We still have Christians who are gossiping, full of greed, and chasing money and the treasures of this world, but are claiming that they want meat and solid food from their church. Because even Apostle Paul chose to limit himself to only preaching the fundamentals, which are Christ and Christ crucified, even though the Corinthian church has already heard that gospel. He knew based on how they were living and what they were believing that they would not be able to digest anything more until they fully received the reality of Christ and Christ crucified and allowed that to transform their lives and their thinking. So next time you say you want meat or solid food from your church, ask yourself, could you actually digest it? Are you capable of it? Because if your life resembles the world more than it does Jesus, then you probably need to revisit the fundamentals of the gospel first.